doesn't it sound so appealing? Appealing to voters who are either not born here or who were taught to resent American history and our way of life? And of course, social media snippets can make socialism seem so cool. It can make communism seem doable. Disaffected minorities and the proletariat will finally get their due. Oh, how sweet. But peel back the onion and Mamdani is just another seething leftist, acting out on his messianic mission of soaking the rich and hating on Trump.
We've officially reached a point where MAGA has given up on pretending that words still have meanings and policies have consequences.
New York will have to learn the hard way. New Jersey will be poorly governed, as usual, with mega red tape and high taxes. And in Virginia, parents are going to be disenfranchised from the education of their children, and taxes are likely to go up there as well. So by winning, Democrats are, in a way, losing, because they're going to simply drive more people to the red states where life is easier, safer, and less expensive, and the government generally more responsive.
First off, Ingraham's analysis of the recent election results reeks of somebody who's a sore loser, and they can't fathom to accept that, hey, people do not want to continue living the way they have under Republican leadership. It's not fun. It's not fun when groceries are so high. It's not fun when people are losing jobs left and right. It's not fun when Republicans are telling you that they can control what you do with your body, right, when it comes to reproductive care. For her to claim that living in red states is easier, safer, and less expensive than blue states, that is just flat out not true. Like, people's lives are made much more difficult by living in a red state when you think about, again, reproductive care, right? What a woman should do, with her body when it comes to having a baby or not having a baby, lax gun laws, right? Lack of support for the LGBTQ plus youth, public education, being defunded, all these things, right? The education system being stripped of its integrity and functionality because there's so many agendas where they want to tell you, they want to teach you certain things about America, but leave out the brutal parts, the ugly parts.
At least in one survey taken before the election, he had the support of 62% of the foreign-born vote in New York City. Does that surprise you, Vivek?
A lot of the people who come, whether they're Latino background, you think about people from even Muslim to Jewish to Hindu backgrounds, should, in theory, according to their own religious values and otherwise, be conservatives. Family-oriented, entrepreneurial, that's what we should want. And I think we need a system that selects for the kind of people who share those American values, who want to pursue that American dream. And then for us to be the party that makes it real, to say that if you work hard, you play by the rules, and you assimilate into American life, absolutely. So I want to double down on that. He expanded the coalition. We want to continue to expand it.
Absolutely.
What Vivek, Ingraham, and other conservatives refuse to realize is their policy positions of infringing on our civil rights, enriching the 1% and corporations even more, and dismantling the federal government from the inside, just to name a few, right, aren't as popular as they'd like to admit without a figure like a Donald Trump to sell those policies to a wider audience, like he did to build the coalition he did during the 2024 election.
The Republican Party needs to get it together, ASAP. I'm really glad we spent the past couple of weeks, as Sean Davis of The Federalist put it, policing some young person's group chat, what a podcast host said, and what the head of a think tank over at Heritage had to say. The Republican Party is not strong. Donald Trump is strong. Republicans don't know how to win. They don't know who to run. They don't know what to do when daddy's not there to fly them across the finish line. And that's just been so obvious.
Megyn Kelly is talking about the Young Republicans group chat scandal, where they share disgusting, racist, and bigoted messages about anyone who isn't white, and is defending Tucker Carlson for platforming and interviewing Nick Fuentes, the literal neo-Nazi white supremacist who notoriously dined with Trump and Kanye last year.
Young women in this country have become a very scary demographic. 84% of young women in New York voted for Mamdani last night. They voted to make the city dramatically less safe for themselves.
Yeah, you're talking about not only young women, but we saw the Latino vote also go towards Mamdani, over 50%. I mean, these are two big areas that we know that Donald Trump made a lot of, basically really developed more of that support of that coalition with the presidential election. Obviously, in cities across the country, but I would say in New York City, those are two groups that went towards Mamdani, which I find it to be so concerning.
So the Mamdani coalition is this: it's people not born in the country, and they're here now. And then it's people, blacks and Hispanic New Yorkers, and it's also people with college degrees, many degrees, and they're young. A lot of them are women. You're in an apartment. It's small. It's very small, and it's very expensive. And you haven't gotten married and had kids and moved out to the suburbs like everybody else. So you're in a tiny apartment, and the apartment's getting really expensive because all of these migrants are here now. And it's also expensive because of the Green New Deal. So your utilities are high. And you got the wrong degree. You should have gotten a degree in like chemistry, biology, finance, computer science, something useful in this high-tech AI economy. No, but you got a degree in like Southeast Asian feminist literature. And you're wondering why you can't advance in this economy.
So much blatant bigotry right there by those Newsmax hosts, right? Those Newsmax individuals are spreading so much bigotry, as well as Jesse Waters, right? For them to say young women are becoming a very scary demographic in this country because 84% of them in New York voted for Zohran Mamdani to become the New York City mayor. And that, oh, by the way, you also voted to make the city dramatically less safe for yourself. Okay. So when you say that, you're telling me that you're scared of a Muslim mayor, a Muslim New York City mayor. That's what you're telling me. Because all of his platform ideas have been about making, or some of them I should say, have been making the city safer for everybody. So we know, we hear the undertones there, okay? You don't have to spell it out. And then for Jesse Waters to talk about how your rent is getting expensive for young women because of all the migrants living there. Xenophobia, come on, blame it. How about we blame it on the landlords being greedy and trying to recoup the money that they lost during the pandemic? And then his last point about how, yeah, you could have gotten a degree in chemistry, biology, finance, something useful in this high-tech AI economy. Instead, you got it in Southeast Asian feminist literature. You're not even trying to hide. You're not even trying to hide your disdain, right, for women. And for Asians, for that matter, right? So much ignorance and sexism, misogyny, racism. It's offensive. But here's what I'll say. When it comes to Mamdani winning, this is a really good sign because the people have spoken that they rejected the old establishment. And I'm just talking about the Democratic Party here. They rejected the old guard. They're not going for that anymore, okay? And things can work. We have an ability to make our lives better in this city in particular. So I don't know how it's all going to shake out. Obviously, all these candidates in the races who won, whether, specifically talking about New Jersey, Virginia, New York City, they're not going to follow through on everything. We know that. However, I think we're moving in the right direction. We are absolutely moving in the right direction to make cities and states a much more peaceful environment, an environment where people feel empowered and they can achieve what they want to achieve without all these restrictions that are placed on them because of the corrupt powers, corrupt leaders in charge. For Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.